talking about situations and how things happen to law enforcement. And let me tell you, they have a hard job.
We know this. Are we starting? Did we start?
We can start. You want to start?
This is starting?
We started. The underwater crowd, man, it's the best crowd in the world.
It's never going to get better. I'm never going to pay the money to get that thing the way I need to do. It's never going to get off these. Oh, this is a good one. This for this episode. Yeah.
It's definitely about the fact that there's things that happen that you can't have no control over. That's what makes things great.
Yeah.
When you just let things happen.
All right.
Well, unless you're in the hands of law enforcement. Life gets crazy. I'm Fredo Peans.
Thompson, what's up?
You're kind of nervous about this episode.
This episode got me tight a little bit.
Nah, man.
Hello, guys. Welcome back.
Oh, goodness.
To another episode.
No.
With your strong female host, Kimberly. By the way, you guys are looking very charming.
Man.
This week's episode's about Florida law enforcement.
Thank you, Kimberly.
The good cops and the bad cops. Growing up, they seemed to be peace officers, but now they are more like enforcers of laws. Let's dive deep into these polar opposites.
Heard that
Right
before.
from wrong.
Where'd I hear that?
Examples of moral character.
Heard that recently.
Just to add an
What you just
example's a
said.
metaphor per se. Fredo's like Howard Stern and you Thompson are like Robin Quivers. Like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
So much disrespect.
Like Barack Obama and Michelle.
Actually, she's amazing.
Pinky and the
I'll
Brain.
take that.
Jay and Silent Bob. Bob Hope and Bing Crosby.
She must have got through whole
You
Google to
guys
come
get
up
it
with
right.
the best duels.
Enjoy these next clips.
I didn't even hear what she said.
Let's get right into the stories.
Oh, man.
Thank you, Kimberly, and
I'm
I
worried.
appreciate it.
I'm worried I didn't hear what the last part of what she said, but
She said we were charming. Say thank you.
thank you. Was that a welcome? Thank you. That was cool. That was her saying.
So this week we're talking about good law enforcement officers and bad law enforcement officers.
All right.
And somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, they're human beings.
Right. Everyone's
They-
human.
Off the rip, they automatically demand some type of respect. They should always. It's kind of like a soldier thing because they signed up for an oath to protect us, you know, and uphold the Constitution and the law.
Yeah.
And just
I
on an
definitely
individual level, for a human to do that is an admirable thing.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean?
That's
so
amazing.
I just believe off the rip, you should always give a law enforcement officer a respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, respect is a two-way street. You know what I mean? Sometimes there's been situations where, you know, like I said, they're humans just like us. And, you know, things happen that day. As we're going to see today, things happen a lot. People overreact.
Things happen a lot.
Well, since it's like the odds. You're playing the odds in a job like that, right?
Okay.
Because 9 times out of 10, unfortunately, you're going to encounter a lot more bullshit than the average human. So
Right.
you start to look at the average human differently, right? Especially
because
when
you encounter a lot of people too.
Right.
And a lot of people kind of like generally on their worst day, right?
And no one really wants to see a cop. Who really wants to see a cop unless you need to get saved, right? That's a crazy job to fall into. It's like, I don't want to see you, but I need you.
Yeah.
And that's what starts to build a certain personality, a certain ideal levels, and that's what they call the blue wall, you know? And
What's that?
it's a culture that certain cops stick with each other, you know,
Okay.
by any means. And it's because they do what
And
I
that's
just
like
said.
a that's like a real thing that I can Google and say like, you know, they have like a website or something like that.
No, it's not like a defined definition. It's just
No, it's just that's the term.
It's a cultural thing that
Okay.
some cops talk about, and then a lot of reporters that are trying to name the situations,
like the actions.
right? Exactly.
Put a name to what's happening.
Right.
During
'Cause
all of that
when you
stuff.
see a lot of injustice, why is this constantly
Why?
happening?
Yeah.
And why aren't the good cops getting rid of the
Yeah.
bad cops? Because they don't see each other as good and bad. They see each other as a brother and a sister, and we're all
Right.
part of the same organization. And the job's tough, so we need to be there for each other.
Right.
You know. And at the end of the day, who's going to go into
At least initially. right?
Well, who's going to be the one that goes into that building that's being held up by somebody, a bank or a school?
Yeah.
It's going to be that cop.
You gotta have them. You gotta have their back.
Right.
At all.
So that's where.
And I understand that. I think I get that at that level. You know what I mean? At least initially. At least like without knowing anything. You know, you just say no. This is a trained officer, and he knows what he's doing, or she knows what he's doing. She knows what she's doing. But once, things start coming out like facts and video evidence, motion pictures, then I think at that point you're allowed to alter your views. It's okay to be wrong, I would say.
Right.
It's okay to be wrong.
But I also think because of their ability to, this is a generalization right now, all of them do this, but the majority of the spirit of the cop is to, like I said, go into a building and risk your life for these absolute strangers. You know what I mean? And on the reverse side, the absolute strangers sometimes are off put because of the way that they have to enforce these laws and keep everything. It's like it's kind of like what they say, big brother, or like a parent. It's that same type of energy where you're like, oh man, this is my superior, and I have to, or like a boss. Those type of things that it's like,
yeah.
But even deeper because, like I said, they're gonna risk their life for you.
Yeah, like a boss.
But when the greatest cops are the ones that really see everyone as a human and truly are peace officers,
right?
And like
trying to keep everybody calm. I'm trying to remember where I heard that. I heard that put that way. Like, I don't know if it was a movie or if it was a.
That's my dog Cosmo in the background playing with his little mouse.
Okay. I don't know if it was a movie I was watching or a show I was watching, and it's like
not a real mouse, by the way.
They put it exactly like that. It might come to me later. I can't remember though. It was happening recently.
The situation is that when a cop is a peace officer, that means that they're above enforcing the law, and it's just all about keeping the peace. And I think that that's what the spirit of the original police officer was.
Yeah. Like
that's what their intentions,
I had an officer tell me one time after he pulled me over, and found some stuff that shouldn't have been found or whatever. He tells me our greatest weapon as a police officer is discretion.
Absolutely.
And I drove away that night. So. Yeah, well, that's a peace officer. I was not a threat, you know what I mean? He was looking for some people that were fighting or something like that, and they matched our description or something like that. And, whether I believe that part or not is another story, but I do believe that he saw us not to be a threat, and that's why he used his discretion, you know what I mean? And those are awesome, police that are out there all the time. There's others that turns into something else, It turns into a lot of something else.
You think there's more good cops than bad cops?
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is a cool story. It was about a police officer.
A Florida police officer is being praised for a unique act of kindness.
These are all Florida cops. Shout out to you guys.
Cell phone video captured Officer Tony Carlson is his name, assisting a man named Phil with a shave in Tallahassee. Why'd he do that? Vladimir Dudiev of our streaming network CBSN shows us why the officer stepped right in. Vlad, good morning.
Good morning. Officer Carlson was in a gas station parking lot last Sunday after finishing a call, and that is when he encountered Phil, who would end up having a positive run-in with the law. Serving the community isn't just a job for Tony Carlson.
Bald, everything.
It's a way of life.
You get on a scene, you try to resolve it in a way that there's going to be a positive outcome that'll last.
So when the Tallahassee police officer arrived,
you don't want hair as a cop because if you don't want to get your hair pulled,
all bald, everything.
I would go bald. Shout out to the bald people, Paul Power.
That a gas station came across a homeless man named Phil who was struggling to fix an electric razor. He lent him a hand.
I went over there and took a look at it. It was missing a screw. So I was able to tighten up the other screw tight enough where it would work. And while I was doing that, he was telling me the story and he seemed really excited.
That excitement was an opportunity to work at the McDonald's next door.
Man.
One exception.
If I can show up Monday clean with my beard cut off, they'll promise me a job.
He was trying to shave. He obviously outside, didn't have a mirror or anything, and he was just getting patch after patch.
This
wasn't
guy's
going too well.
homeless.
So I said, hey,
trying to get a job at
He didn't have to do this. He's got other things to do, man. He really went out of his
Next
way.
was unexpectedly caught on camera by a stranger. The video quickly spread online.
That's the great thing too. This wasn't set up or anything. Like, he was just doing it, and it just got caught. And this occurrence would have happened. Nobody would have heard about it.
Yeah.
And this is the stuff this is another thing about the media. Sometimes is that sometimes we see too much of the negative stuff,
right,
and we don't see enough of this because who's going to capture stuff like this? You know what I mean?
And you know what's crazy is that those type of the negative images have us programmed a lot of times, even though we don't know how it happened. Like right now, my negative ass is saying, why is he shaving him in the street and him not shaving himself in a bathroom? You know what I mean? In my insides right now, when I know it's a good thing, it's like a nice thing.
He just pulled up on him and he seen him shaving.
No, I hear it, and it's an awesome gesture. I'm not saying anything negative about it. I'm saying those negative images in other instances have programmed me inside to feel like I'm like, why isn't he just inside shaving himself instead of feeling better about? But I know that
conditioning.
I know that about myself, and I know that about different other situations. I think I was talking about somebody else. Was that us? Anyway, doesn't matter. I know things about myself a little bit to where I can say that to myself or whatever, that I'm tripping. So I don't really, I'm saying it now to make a point, but I don't really say that. You know what I mean? Man, he should be blah, 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 blah. I just say, oh, that's nice. Because it is nice, That's what it is. Even though I feel like he could be inside shaving himself, I know that is from programming. Right. It's happened to me from always seeing negative images.
That conditioning of negative pictures all the times in stories
or whatever.
You jump to those conclusions, man. I do the same thing. That's crazy. You just made me realize that. And man, that's deep programming. It's you got to
fight that, man.
Well, and I had to search. I'm searching for these stories. This is not the norm, but it does happen.
Of course,
it does happen.
I know a couple stories. Girlfriend's best friend growing up. One of the guys will jump into the lake and fish people out of cars. You know what I mean? Like go under and continue to go under. And guy's one of those amazing people. He's one of those good stories that you don't hear about a lot. It's more popular. I went to television production up in Maryland, community college, and the journalist teacher, forgot her name. If it bleeds, it leads. It's old adage. It's an old thing that somebody said way back when. But it's just, if it's negative, go with it. It's better. It's what we want to see as it's the gladiator shit.
Especially now with social media, the truth is so. The lie is so much better
to gladiator shit. World Star Video, just the fuckery. People love it, and it's sad. But the thing is, people love the other stuff too. So I think if you push that as well, I think
the majority likes the negative.
It's easier. It's easier.
Or is it? It could just be the media looking for sensationalism.
No, it's easier. I think it's easier to make the dumb fart joke or whatever instead of going around a better way to make something worth something. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's easier to get that quick little fuckery. We'll just fight him. We'll just punch him in the face, or just something crazy. Instead of just being like, give him a hug or something, or deal with whatever negative thing that you think this other person has, or just all these kind of things you can just combat with positivity. That if you were just lazy about it, you could just snap on somebody and it'd be a negative situation or it'd be funny in the I'm talking about a broad spectrum of like what ifs, you know what I mean? But I don't know. It's as long as you, like I said, as long as you're aware of what's happening inside of you, you can say, oh, that's awesome. And you can even be this officer that does something like that because you're constantly fighting your, I don't know, he could have just busted him for vagrancy or something, you know what I mean?
Well, this is the type of officer that you want as your neighbor.
If he was hanging out like that, you know, I don't know what the situation. What is this?
This is another cool story about this officer that has other talents. Mm-hmm. Another Florida cop.
Music can provide the sweet sound of healing.
It can really just change any situation from wherever it's at to something better.
Pembroke Pines.
I
used to hang out down there.
Police Department in Florida. After responding to a call to help an elderly man who had fallen, he started playing the piano for their overwhelmed daughter.
He had fallen?
She just seemed like she had a lot on her hands. I was just doing it to try to get her mind off of what was going on.
It's not the first time Hernandez has done this.
I played at a couple homes. It all depends on the situation. At times where it can change the mood or make people feel better or just give people a laugh or give people something, you know, nice. If the opportunity is there, present, you know, I definitely take advantage of it.
And those voices you hear singing?
The firemen, they're off-key and high-pitched.
The firemen were singing back.
It's the music that means the best medicine.
So, I mean, and so this is a guy from
Pembroke Pines. So last guy was Tallahassee. This guy was from Pembroke Pines, so north and south side of the state.
So this was actually a highway patrol officer, and this is what I'm saying about. This is when you really need a cop. Like, oh man, I don't want to pull me over and get a ticket, but if I have a child that's choking,
yeah, absolutely.
It's the video seen around the world. A cop
all bald, everything. Let me just say, it's another bald dude doing his thing.
Now they're getting together for the first time.
What's up, man? Look at his little feet.
Oh man!
Oh, he had to take a nap on him. He's like, oh, thanks, man. Good to see you.
What an adorable kid, man! Look at that little guy.
The
That's
drama
awesome.
began when Nicole Crowell's 4-month-old son Kingston suddenly stopped breathing. They're in the white car heading to the emergency room. That's when Nicole spotted Deputy Jeremy Nix.
Rolled down my window, and that's when I hear her yelling that, my baby's not breathing.
They pulled over, and Deputy Nix rushed to help. He took the stricken youngster and dropped to his knees, frantically trying to...
As a parent, like...
I'm freaking out. Why you hit pause? What are you doing?
Save the boy's life.
What were you doing with Kingston at that point?
Couldn't find a heartbeat.
I mean, I know he's fine, but I'm just... As a parent, you're right. Pause it. I'm sorry.
No, but like that's what I'm
just like, yo.
You're in the car. Like, what do? You can't save your kid.
What she was doing, I guess she was doing what she could do. You know what's crazy is I'm always thinking where the nearest hospital is when I'm driving around, or like with everybody.
Because you're a parent.
Because of me / because I'm a parent. Yeah, I'm just always. I guess when I was younger, we grow up in that force protection thing where as growing up like a military kind of like not kind of like a military dependent, being in different places. Overseas or whatever, when you first get into the country or whatever, they give you an orientation, and one of those is force protection. So getting that ingrained several times, different places, is just something that I do now.
You got that in class, or is that something that you have to take when you show up to the base?
That's something they just send everybody through in general. I think when you get in, when I got it when I was in Italy, and I think Germany or something. I don't know. But it just tells you, like, when you take different routes home and, like, just general, not like Jason Bourne, I know this guy is going to.
No, protection. Maybe you guys could be abducted because you're child of the military or stuff like that, right?
Yeah, when you got to be, like, aware of things, like, where's the nearest exit? Where's the nearest? And it's just kind of like something that I just, almost a game that I try to play. Also, I went to get a job one time, and I came into the room. They told me to close my eyes and like look around the room close my eyes and then ask me questions about things around the room. But when I came in, I wasn't thinking that I should be thinking that. Does that make sense?
That sounds like some Jason Bourne shit.
No, it was a video game testing thing. It was to be a video game tester, I think it was.
Okay.
Anyway, so heyo, Cosmo got through. Well, as a part of the force protection thing, knowing your surroundings, part of it has manifested as a grown up into me knowing where I need to be as far as hospital wise. If something happens, I'm always doing worst case scenario in my brain, which kind of sucks.
Nah, I mean it sucks, but that's a good thing to always be conscious of.
But that's what she was doing.
Right.
It sounded like she was trying to go to the nearest hospital as a parent. What can I do in the next few minutes to make sure everybody survives this? It sucks. But.
Should parents? It's like, should parents maybe get? Because it's one thing to be a parent, but then should you know CPR and all those things? Because it's crazy that
you be certified to be a parent.
I mean,
certified parent.
That's why was
there are parenting classes.
True, but the just the instinctiveness of the mother to just go directly to the cop no matter what, right? Because
you see a cop, you gotta. I mean, like
but because of the certification, because of what they uphold, that's why you subconsciously,
yeah. If she saw a cop in a paramedic truck, she'd go toward a paramedic truck. You know what I mean? Because I see you to get to them, but they're there, so I'm gonna get to that. If she saw a hospital behind that, she'd probably run past them to the hospital, because that's really where we're trying to go. That's where we're trying to be. It's the. If not, I can drive to the hospital. It's just, she's trying to get to the hospital at the end of the day, trying to get to a doctor.
Yeah.
But there's a cop. Let's do it.
And the cops saved
cops cops know a lot of stuff. He saved them. Dang, boy, you got all the tabs open.
It's a lot of stories, bro.
All right, man. Let's do it.
So this was a body cam of a guy that was overdosing. We're living the opioid crisis. We're living in it every
Florida.
day.
There was one doctor in one county, and I may be overstating this, but I hope I'm not. I think it was out in Cocoa or Daytona or something like that.
I want to make sure to record it. Okay. Sorry.
And he was passing out more prescriptions for OxyContin than
candy store.
All of California? It was like the whole state. It was like more in this one guy's office than the whole state or something like that. I know it sounds crazy, but there's something crazy dramatic, like
it was crazy.
Hashtag what the fuck, Florida.
It still is crazy, but it was crazy. It was a candy store.
Man, it's getting better, I think. It seems to be. The media says. But according to this guy,
2018.
Well, this is when it was published or posted.
This was.
It's 2018. Okay, this is the beginning of the year. Shut up, Thompson. No, it's still happening. I'm not saying it's not happening.
Just the selflessness of this officer to just.
You just picked him up?
Yeah, he's like, I need some money. Can you put me to work?
And the calmness of this cop, and just the way, like, this is the duty, man. This is what they call duty, man.
You grab gloves.
Damn, dog. Do they have like CPR kits, or do they gotta go mouth to mouth?
And another thing is, you don't know what this guy has, what type of
that's why I asked that question.
And he's just going in. I mean, yeah, they have gloves, but and I'm sorry, but this is completely this guy's fault. It's unfortunate he's an addict to things, but it's like, this is what they deal with every day, man. Situations.
Go left now.
Oh, that's the Narcan stuff?
Yeah.
How does he know what he took?
Narcan deployed in the left nostril.
I think when he pulled up,
is Narcan, is that like cover a ton of shit if you OD?
Yeah, it just wakes you up.
Oh, okay. It's not like I thought it was like venom. You get bit by a snake, and you got what kind of snake
it's like
you got bit by.
Scent thing that activates something in your brain that just like gives you adrenaline rush.
Okay. He doesn't look like he's coming back, right, Peans? We gotta watch somebody die.
No, he comes back.
All right, sorry. Spoiler alert. I had to know.
And the reason I'm showing this video is just this is the intensity of the job, man. Like, this is what they sign up for, and maybe a top cop will make $60,000 a year in Florida,
man.
You know, and they're average making like 40.
Stuff. You know when teachers don't get paid, cops don't get paid.
Yeah, but this is what we need teachers to get paid. So don't. I'm not saying that, but
no, I'm just saying
the bullshit.
I'm saying that to say that important jobs that we need to have in this world that are kind of shitty. You know what I mean? In ways, of course. I bet you there's amazing things about being a cop too. Doesn't seem to get valued in the way they should. I guess is the reason I kind of equated it. I'm not saying it's the same job.
You're right. They need more money, man, and they need more. It would be great for people that are part of civic service. They just get a house, they get a car every 4 years. You know, it's like things that like are big expenses.
So you get to get a car every 4 years?
Yeah, maybe 5 years.
You just get them on like a lease joint.
Yeah, if you're like this would eliminate a lot. Let's do it with the politicians too. Like you're only gonna get a cap. You'll make $100,000 a year. Mm-hmm. You'll get a house, a nice house. All right, like a $300,000-$400,000 house. Nice, you know. You get a car every 4 years. And you get health benefits and stuff like this because cops need these things. But I think if we implement this in government, then the people that govern us won't have incentives to get money. You know, to get political contributions.
Dirty people are gonna still be dirty. You know,
no, because
if they have a free house and a car.
Because you can monitor their money. You can monitor their money. They know that you're not supposed to spend more than $100,000 a year, and you get a car.
So you're monitoring everybody's money though. At that point.
No, if just civic service people.
Okay, so everybody, so even like, you know, whoever works at the cash register.
No, just government people.
What's people in the government that work at cash registers?
No, but
like low end jobs, like the very low end. Like
I'm not talking about them. I'm just talking about
at a certain level,
right? Cops, commissioners, senators, governors.
So what I'm saying, like even like the cop that is in the clerical end of being a cop.
I don't know. We're getting too deep into that.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's where you start kind of getting to those gray areas. You know what I mean?
There'll be a service division to like what stripes.
But what you're saying is you should, if you do something like being a police officer, let's just say like being a police officer or what else? A politician.
Fireman, politician. Yeah, any vote. If you got voted into office, bam. Yeah. You know, if you took an oath and you're putting your life on the line, bam. Mm-hmm. If you're teaching kids, bam.
So you get a house as a teacher too. You get a house.
A teacher that's been working their ass off, that's got tenure, maybe that's been there for like 5-6 years.
At a college or
a college.
Well, we'll get into this.
Yeah, like high school. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's an amazing thought, Peans. How do we pay for it? Never mind. Go.
So this is another choking baby.
This is the moment a newborn's life was saved. By patting the 6-day-old on the back, this police officer was able to clear her throat.
Baby is breathing, conscious and breathing.
It's another mother going to a cop.
This was like last month.
And she just started throwing up. That's fine.
Oh, no, you're right. I'm sorry. I read it backwards.
We got her. She's good. She's good. I have her, okay?
Officer Jorge Goss is a CPR instructor for the Fort Pierce, Florida Police Department.
Fort Pierce.
He was on patrol when the 911 call came in that the baby's lips were turning blue.
As soon as I saw that, I knew I had to act.
Instead of having the family rush to the hospital, he told them to pull over, where he met them on the side of a road so a first responder could get to them faster.
I got her. She's fine. We got her.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man, the dad's breaking down in the background.
The next day, Officer Goss reunited with the baby
That's
and
so
family.
crazy.
This time,
oh, my God.
Little
I'm
baby.
Jess for Inside Edition.
This is what I'm saying, bro.
Oh,
good cops, man. This is so okay. Cops are saving choking babies. Cops are playing the piano. That's all good, right? But this is when the cops really throw down. This is a shootout that happened. And you know, this takes a certain caliber of individual
Sheriff
that have the balls
says the
to do
deputies
type of shit.
involved in this are heroes. He
Or,
says you can see that by just watching
Say
the video.
courage.
Body cameras on 2 Pasco deputies rolled as they inched closer to a gunman who had already killed a man in his garage.
Check out
Once
the
they
drop
spotted
shadow.
him in the street.
Hands, bro! Put your fucking hands up!
Oh my God!
Suddenly,
he's in the middle of the street.
Deputies
so
Nick
crazy.
Carmack and Michael Sudler were in a shootout with Brian Desario last Thursday.
Stand by! I need a shield! Get the shield out of my fucking truck! Get the shield out of my truck!
Mike and Nick, they're heroes. Sheriff Chris Nacco says other than their shield, the deputies had little
That's
protection,
nuts,
but
dude.
knew they had to act quickly. An elementary school
That's
packed with
nuts.
students.
Yeah, he
is
looks like a
just
dude who'll
few
take your head
hundred
off.
yards
That guy.
away.
Moments
That was the
before
guy.
this,
Yeah.
they were driving and
Look at that guy.
patrol, doing what they had to do.
Oh no, this is the
later,
executive officer.
they're in a
Okay,
that situation,
that guy
put
too,
their
man.
lives on the line.
Probably a whole crew of those guys.
Minutes before deputies arrived at the scene in the Gulf
Just
Highlands
yoked up and
community,
ready to like
Desario's
throw some
mother
hot
called
shit toward you if
911.
you ready to do what you. You see, if you want to go back real quick, just real quick. I just noticed something, and I'm not like any kind
Where?
of like just back to the immediate contact with the person.
When they started shooting.
Yeah, right when he's walking across the street. Watch how he doesn't go left or right. He just keeps going straight while the gun goes off. Look, he's going straight toward it, straight toward it, and then he goes off. It's like what? All kinds of like how I would just be like dropping to the ground and like bear crawling away or whatever. He took one little thing, kind of assessed for like half a second, and then he was just like bing, 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 bing. That's crazy. That's incredible.
And they only get $60,000 a year to do that. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like the courage to be an officer is you're built differently, man.
Absolutely, man.
And that's why I think that they, like I said, just off the bat, you should automatically respect them. And again, respect's a two-way street, and we're going to see that. But this is the type of valor that you really look at an individual and say, "Thank you for your service, man."
So crazy. I don't know much about guns and stuff, but that looked pretty.
That was some Call of Duty shit.
Like, yeah, for sure. Saw the shadows going straight toward him, like
real life Call of Duty.
No, like even you didn't even see the shadow do like
he didn't
this.
Flinch. He said, "Get my effing shield."
Get my shield. I'm not going to get it. I'm gonna stay here and keep getting some.
And this is what we're dealing. We're dealing with a schizophrenic son. The mother is out of control of her son. This is okay. So we have parents that look to cops when the babies are choking, and this is a parent that's got a crazy older kid with a gun. I mean, like the stuff that these.
That's sad though. He was having problems. You know what I mean? I'm not saying don't react like that, because absolutely you still reacted amazingly, but it sucks that at the end of the day he was kind of out of control. Or not kind of, he was clearly out of control, and it's
for the mother to be calling. Yeah, he's got a loaded gun.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Someone.
These are sad stories, Peans.
Please get the officer
But they're all-
in the ambulance
yeah,
here now. He's got a loaded gun.
Detectives say Desario is mentally ill and killed a family friend, David Armstrong, because he thought Armstrong hit on his imaginary girlfriend. Once authorities arrived and the violence escalated, Desario went back into his home where he took his own life. Sheriff Nacco says it's unfortunate 2 people died, but he's proud of his deputies. They made it.
His imaginary girlfriend, bro.
That happens, man. I wonder how many times when we're talking about like, when you talk about deaths and gun, because that counts as gun violence. You know what I mean? So when you're talking about those numbers, how much of those numbers are one of those kind of crazy? Is crazy the wrong word to use? I don't know. One of those stories.
He's not right, clearly, and thank God for these officers, man. Like, because I don't know if I could kill someone or shoot someone, man. I don't know. If I had to defend my family, maybe I think about it. I don't have a gun in my house, but if the gun was there, like you said, man, this guy was just on.
My reactions would definitely not be anywhere I mean, he's obviously trained, and he trains. They train. Everybody trains. Train.
But you have to be the dude that decided to say, "I'm going to do this. I'm going to train to do this."
But then actually do it is like, I'm saying, like, loud noises still. I still kind of like, just out of instinct, at least for half a second, and then But I've never been in like that serious of a situation. I've been in some gunfire things, but like not.
You've had a gun fired at you?
Not at me, but around me during some tense situations for sure. And I remember looking at it as a movie. This is a movie happening right now, and I didn't flinch. But again, it wasn't at me. It was just like, wow, this is happening.
You think if you would have had a gun and somebody engaged you, you would let off and maybe wound or kill somebody?
I mean, it's really hard because me, I'm the guy who's trying to talk out of every. We've never really been in a situation, but like, I'm not trying to fight anybody. I don't want to get all sweaty and shit. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to hurt anybody. But you're saying if
like somebody,
I feel like I could.
You're
yes.
with the kids, and
it's short answer, yes. I feel like I could.
You had to defend. It wasn't like a talking matter.
Yeah,
it was an engage.
Yeah. I feel like I could, but hopefully not ever.
Never. I don't.
Yeah, man.
So there's another situation. I think this was like a little by Daytona Beach, and this guy rolls up on this house, and the father's holding the family hostage, and he has to engage the father.
Sheriff's office.
So he says so he knows that there's possibly some gun shots going on. You heard that? So that's one shot off, and that wasn't the cop.
Wow. Come outside.
Show me your hands now. Open the door. You just barricaded.
Courage, man. Shout out to this officer too, man. Respect, brother.
He just locked the front door. After second shot fired. Subject's barricading the house.
Bro, that's so scary. Look, he's got a tree to defend him.
Come here, ma'am. Come to me.
This looks like your typical Florida house.
Hell yeah. The house is so Florida.
I can really start to see just how this starts to really shape your view of people, man.
Stay down.
Like, how could you do this to your family?
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Like, how could you do this to your family? That's your wife out there, bro.
What happened? Oh, what happened? Is that the other?
This is a second camera angle. This is backup showing up. That's the first cop that we've seen behind the tree.
Right. This is crazy. When was this?
Yeah, this is in Volusia County, I believe. 2016. These are all recent. So the girl, I wonder if she was shot. Yeah, so she must have got shot by the dude.
She shot.
Look at how this guy's
going toward the house.
He is going to help her, bro.
That's so nuts. Who's he? They running after the guy now, or is that some other people coming up?
I think
like they're chasing somebody.
We have kids inside the house.
No, they're going to their cars.
Oh, they're riding out to the spot.
This is the call.
So this is the pressure that's building. You got to get to the call. Like, the anxiety you have to deal with.
Talk about road rage. It's like, get the fuck out the way, old
I'm
lady.
trying to save a family over here.
I got you.
You're on the phone texting.
Kids are in the house. Oh, there's kids in the house.
I know.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
This motherfucker's.
You should have to take a course before you become a parent.
I mean, people with gun.
Oh my God, she shot. He's pulling her away.
Front window, I'm pinned down behind a tree here.
Oh my God.
This is crazy.
Whew.
This Guy's just shooting. Oh my God. Kids in the house?
Oh my God, this doesn't get realer. This guy's like unloading clips. How many shots is that? That's guy. He had to run through a clip.
I mean,
he's got like an extendo,
16, something like that at this point.
30 Glock.
I don't know about guns, but those sound dangerous.
I hear that in a lot of rap songs.
Man. Where's he at? What's happening?
Come here, sweetheart. Come here, buddy. Come here.
Oh man, then you got to go in there. You got to shoot somebody and hope you don't hit the kids. Oh my God! Look how little she is.
They're all.
Oh my God!
Oh, he's right in the house, just yelling.
He's right there.
Man,
what a piece of shit,
how
man.
is he not like?
How do you not take a shot right there, bro? What a piece of shit. Why would you do this to your family, bro? Oh, you hear that?
Yeah. Might not be the shooter.
Oh, and see how I judged it right away? Like, see how quick a mistake? I thought that was a shooter.
You're not trained. They're trained. Like I said, they train.
But
that's why, you're not a cop. I'm not a cop.
But thank God he heard that. He heard that.
Douchebag. Well, he might have been shooting, like you said. He said no one's in there, so he is a shooter. He's so calm. Wow, how calm was that dude?
What? Because it's fucking crazy, bro.
What is he? Is he mad about his girl? What happened? You know what the story with that was? Like, why was he shooting at the cops like that?
It was a domestic violence situation.
Yo, what's gonna happen after you shoot the fucking doors off into the windows and she wants to leave you, so that keeps her?
What's gonna happen is you get aggravated assault charges.
That
locks
keeps
you in
her?
jail for I think I got like 30 years.
It's like, oh, you don't think about, I couldn't think, I was so, what are you talking about? How is that, like, if you actually want to, like, be together with somebody, you don't wreck everything around
Well,
them.
the guy's clearly bipolar. He went from shooting out the window to being like, hey, everything's on the kitchen table and the front
a
door's
lot of
locked.
assumptions, and I apologize to everybody because I don't know what happened, but like that ain't the way. Of course it ain't the way. I don't even know why I said that, because of course it ain't the way.
It ain't the way, bro. There is no okay about what just happened.
AR-15s on the thing, and 9mm.
Mike gave me a beer for the ride back.
No, I promise this was house. It was me. I did it.
Yeah, man. Okay, Johnny. All right, so this is another situation where you're dealing with dumbass people. You're dealing with, remember I said road rage?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine all the immature, entitled people on the road that we have to deal with on a common, like riding your ass, turning signals, speeding. Yeah. How many times have I seen someone speeding and then they get to the same place you are and you're like literally like a minute behind them? If not, you pull up to the same light. And
get out in the same plaza.
Every time I go to Daytona, this motherfucker on the time I-4 killing it, and we get to the same place on International Speedway, and it's like, bro, did you really have to go that fast? Did you really have to endanger everybody else?
DMX says, I don't know where everybody's going, but I'm getting there first.
That's the attitude. So imagine how cops feel when they see these people constantly. They got an excuse. They're like, so just listen to the story. This is what they had to deal with.
I see a car coming up at light speed, just flying. And he whizzed by me right here. He was so close to my car that this car shook. And so I thought, what is going on? Is there some type of emergency? He says he was going 70. I could have caught up to 70 in about that fast. But it took me almost 3 miles to catch up with him. That's how fast he was going.
He saw me coming.
It was over by the executive airport
side view mirror,
on 408.
Watched me walk up. The car was lower. It's kind of a sports car. I tapped on
in Orlando.
Said, sir, roll your window down. The passenger started asking me, why are you stopping us? What did we do? What's your jurisdiction? I ignored Miss Davis and I focused on the driver. Turn the car off.
I ignored Miss Davis.
I told him, turn the car off, do it now. It's called a command voice in police training, and it was effective because.
Well, yeah, I'm in the middle of a fucking expressway, bro. I'm gonna yell at you.
Ignition, put them on the dash, and I got more.
Okay, I don't know about the command voice thing. You know what I mean? Because sometimes they use that shit when you don't need to use it.
He approached the car and the bitch was already throwing the Miranda rights and reading him Miranda rights.
So we don't gotta call her a bitch, though. You know, you gotta be careful calling women.
Miss Davis,
right.
Allegedly. She's an alleged bitch.
And this is an instance when he needed to use command voice because of the noise on there and whatever, right? But I'm just saying that thing happens when we're sitting somewhere at a regular.
He used the command voice because he rolled up on him and automatically gave. The first energy he got was aggressive, so he's got to match it.
Miss Davis,
he's got to match it.
Absolutely. I'm not saying he made a mistake. I'm just saying the command voice training. Do that all the time? Is that the training?
No, I think he just did it, and I'm assuming because Miss Davis met him with just like, all right. And Miss Davis gets crazy though. All right, it's a bit. You're about to understand.
From Miss Davis, third command, sir.
Verbal
I need
resistance.
Driver's license, registration, proof of insurance. Do it now, or I'm going to hook you up in handcuffs and take you to jail.
Okay, maybe that's a little aggressive.
You have insurance there? You weren't prepared for this, I see. You don't have your registration, proof of insurance?
Officer, I just bought the car.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm fighting it.
Okay. Do so.
Can you give me a second?
I'm waiting.
Can you please stop acting this way?
No, because she is endangering the life of you and me and everyone else out here on the road by driving 100 miles an hour. Breathing in and out of traffic.
I wish you wouldn't act this way because it makes me feel very uncomfortable. Yeah, but you're making me feel very uncomfortable.
You're making me feel very uncomfortable.
You're not uncomfortable? You're doing 100 miles an hour?
Officer Pigman, I feel threatened by you.
Okay, well.
And you're supposed to protect me. And I feel.
That's some entitled shit right there.
It looks like she's just trying to get out of it, and she's using whatever she can to get out of whoever that person is. She sounds like she thinks she's important. Was it somebody important?
I didn't even find my registration.
Well, everyone's important.
Well, cosmically, of course, like in
including
in the universe. Are we saying Kimberly's a somebody?
I feel threatened by your behavior. The way that you're acting is really scaring me.
I'm upset about it. You're acting. My life in danger, your life in danger, and all these other folks that he's weaving in and out of traffic.
Yeah, there's a way you can handle things where you don't scare people. Okay? And you're not handling it.
He's playing tennis with her.
100 miles an hour weaving out of traffic. He didn't scare all these other folks on the road. That didn't scare you a bit. When me raising my voice to get up over the traffic that's whizzing by, it scared you.
Somewhere soon after that, my backup arrives. And I told my backup officer that these folks had been not.
I think there's a little bit of a hazard to be like reenacting this in the middle of the expressway.
A little bit, for sure. I mean, but you got to get the shot.
Yeah.
And it's legal and it's...
Oh, yeah, you don't need a permit. You're with a cop. All right, let's get to the good part.
Do you need a permit at all? I don't know.
Let's get to it.
At that moment, he unbuckled his seatbelt. It's when we got to about the back of his vehicle, she began to screaming.
What was happening at that moment, though?
He just pulled the guy out.
Do we know?
Yeah, that's what he just said. And then she's like, what are you doing? Why are you pulling him out of the car? And then that's when she's going to get out and he's going to hit her with the mace.
Wait, but was he aggressively, like, was he beating his ass or something?
Nah, he just said he was pulling him out the car.
Well, the cops just said that. I understand what he said, but what happened is the different. Is there any? There's probably. You know what? There's FDOT. If right there, there's FDOT video of that. I'm curious to see how he was pulling him out the car and what exactly. How it happened, or if it didn't, nothing happened, or if he just,
Yeah, that's what the story is. Nothing. He just asked. You could hear it on the tape.
Screaming.
She's screaming because he just asked the guy to get out the car. That's it. He's not roughing him up. The guy's not yelling or anything. See, so he gets out and then she like lunges over like, what are you doing? And he's saying, get back in the car.
She was halfway out of the vehicle. Before I got back to her, I yelled to her at least twice, maybe 3 times, get back in the car, get back in the car. I met her right here. I pushed her back in the car. She pushes back. And at the same time, drops her hands from here and grabs my gun belt. It's August. She's sweating. And when I gripped down to pull, my hands slipped right off her shoulders. And I was left with 2 handfuls of hair. There's no policy against pulling somebody's hair, and if you're in a resistant. If I could get a different grip, I probably would have done something else, but there was no other way. And I pulled her this way, away from the door. I'd push down, and I'd get her maybe halfway down, she'd push right back up. I was getting nowhere. When all of a sudden, this arm, and I'm right-handed, was...
The fight was gone in his arm? His own arm?
Well, yeah, he just felt like it was,
You just tired?
Overworked it, yeah. Oh, shit.
He said the velocity of the chemical agent.
So this is a little white chick. Kind of entitled, probably.
Yeah.
It sounds like a parrot. You heard your son's heard me, but it's heard you. So the reason I played this video is just to show, like, when even entitled people, you know what I mean, like, resist, and they, what if he just pulled them over and they were just, oh, officer, I'm sorry about, okay, yes, we were speeding. I'm sorry that we were weaving in and out of traffic. Like, it probably would have gone differently, right? And that's what I'm saying about the way you engage with officers. So just when you think, right, that cops only have to deal with people like this, no, they also have to deal with other cops playing with traffic. You know what I mean? So this is a video of a state trooper versus a sheriff. Just some context to the story. The sheriff is supposedly with a softball team, and he's kind of guiding the softball team. I think one of his kids is part of the team.
Okay.
So
you say the sheriff, the one that getting pulled over?
Right.
The one that getting pulled over?
And the state trooper has seen him for a while, weaving in and out of traffic.
Trying to get to the game?
Well, he says he was trying to catch up to the bus, the sheriff, and the state trooper says, "Hey, man, we shouldn't be breaking these laws like this." And so it shows that, like, even within cops, they do check themselves. You know what I mean? Like, it does happen.
Yeah.
It's not? Is it? You tell me. You can flash the people to get out of your way. Show me the state law that you can do that.
You tell me.
So we can turn on our lights anytime so we can go somewhere?
I'm escorting the school bus, trooper.
Do they need escorting?
I'm going to make a phone call, trooper.
I believe he's a Liberty sheriff. He said he's escorting some school bus and he has the right to flash people to get them out of the way.
I said I was trying to catch up with my school bus, trooper, is what I said. Why we're making this bigger
because you're flashing people. How do I know who you are on this roadway?
I'm a law enforcement.
How do I know who you are on this roadway?
Once you stop,
You're making this bigger than it has
I
to
find
be.
out what you're doing, because if I'm driving down the road, I'm going after somebody. Mine says state trooper. Do I know who you are? So I have the right to stop you and figure out what you're doing, why you're flashing cars.
But once you saw me, why do you have the attitude? I mean,
Who can have this on? Tell me who can buy this stuff. You know how many people I put in jail for impersonating a police officer?
Well, I've showed you my credentials.
I didn't see them yet. I see your badge and I see a gun on your head.
I pulled out my credentials and showed.
But guess what? I'm worried about other things first.
I am the legal sheriff of Liberty.
All right.
Yes.
And so that legally...
I'm escorting a school bus back from a state championship football game.
Football game?
And you're a baseball, softball game, and now you're detaining me on
Liberty County, Florida.
Where's that?
Like a little north, like Gainesville kind of area.
I mean, I work here. I'm not. I'm asking you why you have the right. No, you do. You think you have the right to flash people to get you out of the way.
I was trying to catch up.
You know what? I get in trouble for that.
Why do you have an
You're
attitude?
not even in your county.
You want me to call Sheriff Shore? I just got off the phone. Shore. Are in Indian River County?
Lore.
I just got off the phone.
Well, then you need to tell us that you're going to
Shaw.
drive through the counties flashing people.
I was trying.
Indian River County.
Shaw. Sure, call Shaw.
Part of that, are you not understanding? I'm not trying to argue with you.
So he's that's over. This is over
2013
in Indian River County, and he's trying to get to Liberty, County.
A school bus. So you're flashing your vehicle.
Slow down when I caught up to my school bus trooper.
I have no idea what your school bus was. I was looking for a vehicle.
Yellow school bus?
No. I saw you flashing.
He's just ready for it. He just wants the beef today. He really just wants to be like. He just wants it today.
I don't believe that we have.
You don't think like the guy's kind of taking
Discretion.
advantage?
Go right ahead and do what
No, he absolutely is. But I mean, I assume that happens a lot.
But we complain about cops not checking cops, and this is what they're
No,
supposed
this
to
is
do.
absolutely. Yeah.
Treat cops like regular citizens.
I guess for this story, it doesn't mean anything.
So watch, they break up, right? This is just the funny part. Like, this just shows you cop pride for a second, or just regular man pride. This is just some man shit. Like, they're,
There's nothing wrong with
watch.
the school bus.
This is the funny. Watch. Oh, let me fast forward this a little bit. So he's like, all right, he takes off. Hold on. So he takes off, right? And he's like, just when you think it's over, he's like, nah, let me give this motherfucker another 2 cents of my piece.
I'll give you a card.
Stop. Hold on a second. Gets out.
You didn't.
The way you treated me, yeah.
He said, I want a card. He's going to call this guy superior.
And what did
I want your card, young man. The way you treated me. Okay, so the reason I'm not like as saying that's a good or bad thing, like he's calling him out, but look, who cares? He's going fast on the interstate. You know what I mean? Okay, that one story where the cop was flying, and I take it back. Not who cares. Obviously, that's dangerous, and you shouldn't be like using that. And that's good that he stopped. It's not who cares. But what if that guy shot somebody? Call him out for that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's got to start on all levels. You know what I mean?
That's true too.
I just thought it was interesting to see that exchange between these two cops.
He wasn't having it, man, and he was that day. He was just, I got discretion, but I'm not going to use it at all. At all. None at all. Let's go.
So this is a situation. This happened in Tampa, and these are
spent some time in Tampa as well. Good times.
Where is it? Bradenton, right?
Bradenton is where people stay at. Yeah, for sure.
People, I remember. So this is about common citizens using this First Amendment right thing, right? This is when you like approach a cop and you say, "Oh, I don't have to tell you who I am. I don't have to present my ID, or I don't have to."
When you approach a cop, or when you're in a
cop
situation,
approaches
when you're in a situation
you ever seen those videos where like
I've been in that situation, that exact twice.
And where you
times.
check the cop?
check the cop. I've never checked a cop in my life.
Well, this is where the people are like,
never check a
so what do you mean by situation? Somebody was with you that started mouthing off to the cop about his First Amendment right?
Oh, well, okay. I guess I've said that I don't. I've questioned why do I need to tell you stuff or whatever, and eventually I'm just giving up the.
So, but you know about the dudes that take it to the super extreme, that they'll like place their ID and everything in like a plastic bag and hang it outside the window.
Just like blop it outside the window.
That's a little much. Like, I get that you're trying to like protest the fact that, you know, it's your rights and some cops are enforcing them.
I've watched those videos sometimes though. Those are fun videos to watch.
But it's like, that's
like getting across the border when they're like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And they say, I don't know, do I have to, or am I under arrest?
Am I under arrest? Am I free to go? Am I free to go?
Am I free to go? Am I free to go? Am I free to go? It's just so funny.
I think that's important to happen, but it's becoming such a like, all right, bro, we get it. You know what I mean?
I want to see them bring like, I want to do something super illegal and use that. Then I'd be impressed. Let's not do, you know, I don't want like, you know,
I just
illegal shit to happen necessarily.
Giving cops a hard time, man. Why are we giving them a hard time?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's no, to video wise, you're not impressing me so much. You know what I mean? By doing that. But it's definitely
And now
funny
to
to
an 8
watch.
on your side investigation.
They're just trying, everybody's just trying to do their job a lot of
Police
times.
officers caught on video.
Exactly.
Is it exercising a constitutional right, or is it baiting law enforcement?
People are showing up with video cameras near places like military bases and police barracks. And when questioned about what they are doing, 8 on your side senior investigative reporter Steve Andrews tells us this can get a little heated at times.
Yeah, well, it was quite a confrontation outside MacDill Air Force Base quite recently. The people behind the
MacDill.
cameras
I went to elementary school in MacDill.
First Amendment audits. Well, these confrontations
Where's that at?
have the potential
It's in
to
Tampa.
get out of
Okay.
hand.
That's right, we're in Tampa.
Free to go. You're definitely being detained, yes.
Oh, God.
Do you have some type of
Oh, you definitely being detained.
identification?
What law did I break? It was August 26th.
He's like, what's wrong with you? You keep seeing him, keep looking at him like,
asked officers to check.
what's up with you, man?
And it's an Air Force Base, bro. Like 9/11 happened.
Well, no, it's out. I would say it's outside of Air Force Base, because if it was on the Air Force Base, I think it'd be an MP.
Videotaping outside
I think.
the facility.
Why are you taking pictures of
Outside.
Is it against the law? Yes, sir, it is. It is.
Attorney Luke LaRoe watched this video with me. He claims
I don't
it's
know if
not
that's against the law,
illegal to
but okay.
videotape a military base.
Yeah, I was gonna
I think that
do
from
that.
a
He's
general
just misinformed.
analysis,
for sure.
videotaping.
That happens a lot too. People don't say that because just like there's like kind of shitty, let's say barbers or whatever. People don't like take their craft serious and don't practice their craft and try to get better at it.
Yeah, people that fix your car, mechanics.
Mechanics that are kind of
Yeah.
There's cops.
I have a great mechanic,
that-
CJ off of Cimarron, South Cimarron. Go get CJ.
I
CJ tires.
know his name is Kenny, but I don't know where he stays. But he's awesome. There's shitty cops too that don't know the law like that. You know what I mean? Not to say that guy's a shitty cop. He's probably a great cop, but like I'm saying, there's people who don't necessarily know all the laws, just are kind of upset about something. A lot of times and being, you know about it too, filming somewhere, a lot of times they're just like upset that you're not listening to their commands while you're filming. But as long as you know the law, yeah, as long as you're respectful and tell them the law or whatever. But sometimes it gets a bit much. But, you know.
Well, I'm not gonna play this whole video. That's the point is I'm getting. It's like people that are constantly in cops' face. Like, am I free to go? Am I free to go? And it's like, bro, like, I'm an officer. I'm clearly doing my job. And
oh, what are you doing? Why are you passing that one?
What?
The Man Overpowered.
Oh, you remember this one?
Yeah,
this is Downtown
Superman. You talking about Superman? Oh, I'm sorry this happened to y'all, but this was amazing. Like that guy deserves his freedom.
ABC Action News anchor James Tully joins us now with more of this dramatic video. And James, these officers are certainly lucky that they.
This is where you should just let the guy go.
It is such a close call. I mean, you see this right here. This video is going to eventually show these officers just narrowly escaping serious injury. And it was all said and done. It's one of the more improbable getaways you'll ever see. The convicted felon overpowering 2 Orlando police officers trying to arrest him.
He was not going back to jail, man.
At least for a little while.
That was so close, man.
Oh!
thought he was done.
Here it
He's
is.
done
Some
right
fun
there,
video
right?
Showing the two officers trying to take
How crazy is
27-year-old
that, man?
Antoine
He's
Jordan
not
into
going to
custody
jail,
Friday
man.
night.
Don't let him
But
get back in the
he's
car.
desperately trying to
Oh,
get
man.
back into his car. He slips one of the officers, then
How'd he get
overpowers
up?
the second. In the driver's seat of his own car, Jordan manages to drive off. Both the policemen were
Man, he's lucky he didn't run over one of those
He ended up
cops.
crashing that car into a golf cart taxi down the road, seriously injuring that
Oh.
driver. Jordan is a convicted felon.
Man.
Warrants out.
Those little golf cart taxis that ride by playing Nelly downtown Orlando every
He
night.
said they're right by playing Nelly.
He just knocked him every. Just
Rickshaw.
like, it's getting hot in here. Some
Going
car
down,
just
down,
knocks
baby,
you out.
yo, street in them. Yeah, I'm glad those guys didn't get hit by that car, man.
Yeah,
because you know he gets sucked up under that wheel. That's bad news.
Some legs,
but
in a wheelchair.
But now that they got him, what happens? Does he
take him to jail?
Obviously, he goes to jail, but like for how long? Do you get back out? Do you? Well, he's a felon, so he's probably still in jail.
Yeah. So we just seen how people bait cops into this constitutional thing, Amendment 1, right? Now, sometimes cops be baiting people.
Be baiting.
They be baiting people.
They be baiting?
They be baiting people.
Do a lot of cops bait people?
I mean, it's called entrapment.
Okay.
So this is a situation in South Florida, a little north of Miami. And these cops were basically like just straight up like trying to entrap people and get them.
Trying to meet a quota.
What if cops could legally make money from drug deals? And what if they were the ones doing the selling? Well, it's actually happening in one Florida city where drug sting operations, often cooked up at family-friendly restaurants, are raising millions in revenue and serious questions about crime fighting. Here's ABC's Matt Gutman.
You're watching rare video of a kilo of coke being sold for about $23,000.
I love that bass sound.
Where are the cops? They're in on it. The guy in the right in this video is a police detective playing the part of a cocaine dealer. The man on the left is the buyer, and the two with their backs to the camera are the paid informants. This is called a reverse sting. The cops aren't buying the drugs, they're selling them. It's a controversial tactic in which cops lure in potential buyers who drive or fly in from all over the country with wads of cash.
To buy like large quantities.
Not even like a little key or something. And they're getting people that are not even.
Wait, is a key not a lot?
I mean, it's a lot, but what I'm saying is it's like the people that are buying it aren't like real big drug dealers. They're just getting involved because it's like, oh, it creates an opportunity.
But they're also not like lower level people either, right? They're like mid level people.
They get some of those people, but the majority becomes
Is
like
the hope that they get the higher people from these people?
No,
because you're coming to them to buy the thing.
Yeah, that's why it's entrapment.
Yeah, what are you doing?
That's why it's entrapment.
And in most cases, the cops keep the cash and the buyers' cars and pump millions of dollars into local coffers. And according to the buyer in this case,
wait,
this is South Florida.
They're selling drugs but keeping the money
and selling your car and all that stuff. Now look at the victims. Like these are just regular Tom, Dick, and Harry.
The business ran like clockwork.
And is he convincing? Did you ever suspect him of being undercover?
No, I didn't. Not at all. No. I honestly thought it was a real deal that he was doing, you know?
But this isn't a seedy part of the Sunshine State, but Retirement Central, Sunrise, Florida, home to a giant shopping center, coral-colored homes, and lots of drug busts.
1, 2, 3. There you go.
Borges is a nurse by profession.
This guy's not a drug dealer. He was a nurse.
So why was he buying a Kia Coke?
He's there about to explain. He was owed some money, and this guy presented this opportunity. The guy that presented the opportunity was locked in with this informant, and the informant was just trying to meet a quota. So they presented him with this idea about
from
making
Homestead,
money.
Florida, who on this day carried a satchel stuffed with $23,000 in cash. He said he'd been convinced to go by a friend.
Did you think to yourself at any point, how on earth did I get myself involved in a drug deal?
Yeah. Yes, I did. I mean, afterwards, but I mean, it wasn't easy for the informant to convince me, but he managed to do it.
It's risky business, and in sleepy Sunrise, these things have become big business. Borja says he was there because a man owed him money for 5 years and told him this was the only way he'd ever get paid back.
So you're no Walt White from Breaking Bad.
Exactly.
Right?
He walked straight into a trap. The female paid informant aggressively draws the
Female paid informant. This is an informant that's getting paid by the police department because it's a racket now. They're making money off this. Let's get employees that are informants, or if they're freelance informants.
In order for them to keep the money, they have to make it look like I'm buying the drugs. There she goes. See?
So now she's digging into your bag.
Digging into my bag. Yes.
Taking the money out.
Because she's not taking no for an answer. They're not taking no for an answer. They don't care whether I'm a drug dealer or not. They just want the money.
Finally, the woman physically puts the drugs into Borjas' bag to establish possession. He's seconds away from facing a possible mandatory 15-year minimum sentence for trafficking narcotics.
Well, as soon as the cops came in and they busted us, okay, that's when I realized that they set me up.
If I'm the financial manager of the city of Sunrise, every morning I would walk into the police department and applaud them.
The scale of it seems almost industrial, according to Ross, who defended Gus Borjas in court.
It's a huge business. It's a multi-million-dollar business. It's been going on for years. It has been a daily event in the city of Sunrise.
The lucrative sting operations first.
And the whole city's got to be involved, from the police
how many
to the prosecutors.
nurses are they busting? That's the question.
At the beginning, it was drug dealers, but because they're making such a racket, they are employing these informants to grab whoever they can. So they just start, whittling down different people.
So it's just like a little like.
They're gonna get anybody they can. Like, you'll be at a bar with somebody, and they're like, "Hey, you want to get a key of coke for $20,000? I'll get it to you." And they're like, come on, you can make some good money. And then they start feeding it to you. You're like, fuck it, I'll do it. You know what I mean? This guy was trying to make his money back. Clearly, yes, they're doing a little bit wrong, but for the whole city to be implicated from the city to the prosecutors,
I'm going back and forth in my brain about at one end you're committing this crime, but it's like I wouldn't be committing the crime if you wasn't on my ass about it. I'm just sitting here hanging out. But how many people are getting off the street that need to get off the street? Because there's like terrible people too.
There's a federally mandated law that's like a seizure law, right? That basically says if a cop pulls you over and finds a certain amount of money, if you can't prove where that cash came from, they can seize it. They don't even have to. No, it doesn't matter. People have been people little as like 3,000 to 5,000. You have to prove where it came from. So some people don't prove it. Maybe it's like immigrants or whatever, and they'll keep that money. And if you don't go and prove it, it gets seized by the state. And a lot of these task forces
hurts, man. So dirty. You set me up, and you keep the money I made. Then you do what with it? Pay people, I guess, and buy equipment and.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about
give out raises,
building the task force.
I don't know how I feel about that, man. That is a dope shirt. Where do you get that shirt?
When we were in Cali.
It's a dope shirt.
Like a bear. You guys can see. It's like a bear wearing like a camouflage mask.
Oh, this is the best. I am the only one in this room qualified.
All right, I'll play this one. I was going to play this thing about Opalaka, but I stumbled onto this video. So this is a DEA agent from South Florida, and he's basically...
God bless him. He was trying to do something awesome for those kids.
He was. It was like a show and tell for the kids to, kind of motivate them to be officers.
To be a police officer.
So he brings in this gun.
None of the kids in this class became a police officer.
50 Cent.
That's a Subi.
Too Short. All of them talk about Glock 40. Okay, I'm the only one in this room professional enough that I know of to carry this.
Professional enough. Yo, hold on.
Is everybody all right?
Everybody all right?
No.
Are you all right?
You good? You good?
Nah, that's it.
I'm gonna need that's it. I'm gonna have to stop.
Yeah, I'm here. Listen up, guys. But listen up.
Still going.
And I made a
I've seen this version.
So listen to me, guys. Listen to me. Yeah, listen to me. See that how the accident happened?
He's talking himself through the page.
And you can be blown away. Okay? So guys, never play with guns. See how accidents happen? They happen. Okay, now I'll probably never be able to show guns again. But Brian, bring that other gun out, Brian.
He said, I'm probably never, ever going to be able to show guns. And then he points to the left of the room and says, hey, Brian, hand me that rifle. And watch Brian. Brian's like, watch. Brian. Brian's like, hell no, I'm not handing you anything.
Brian hasn't moved.
Look at Brian.
Brian hasn't moved. Brian hasn't moved an inch.
Brian's like, what?
No.
You want me to hand you what? You just shot yourself in front of these children. He just said, I'm probably never going to be able to do this again. Brian, can you hand me that rifle right there?
Brian hasn't moved an inch. Brian's hands crossed.
Brian, I think you call it right now. Bring it up the gun out. Hey, see this gun right here, guys? Listen, see this gun?
Who's that? That's not Brian.
That's the teacher.
Brian doesn't move. Teacher's like, okay.
Yo, she is not trying to.
No.
She is not trying to hand him the gun.
Don't let her grab it.
Yo, he's trying to control the kids.
So he's like, put it down from the back.
He's freaking the kids.
I haven't seen the end of. I haven't seen this long version. Put it down.
Leave it. He's scaring us, Mr. DH.
Put it down.
Hey. Yo, Brian has not moved. Oh, what was his name?
Oh, he grabbed a gun again, put it back in his holster.
Is he bleeding?
I mean, he shot himself in the leg. He can't.
Principal walked in and was like, all right, this is over. Show and tell's over.
I mean, but I will say, shout out to that dude for standing the whole time, for turning it into a teachable moment, which is amazing. He took control of the situation. He told the kids, look, I'm a professional. I'm the only one trained to use it. Then he shot himself just to teach him a lesson, just to say, see, I could, if this could happen to me, a trained professional, it can happen to you, but you will die. You get blown away. I'm going to continue to teach. Although I may not be able to ever.
What do you think happened to the guy?
He's probably still a cop.
He spent his off time lecturing kids on the perils of guns.
Oh, no.
You won't find any celebration of Lee Paige's accomplishments online. Instead, you will find the worst 10 seconds of his life.
Okay, I'm the only one in this room professional enough that I know of to carry this Glock 40. I'm the only
When I pulled the trigger, pulling the gun down and away from the kids, I shot myself.
Is everybody all right?
An inch to one side, and that bullet would have killed him in front of his own children who were present. Paige says his job required him to.
Oh, they did that. Their dad did that in front of the whole school.
Yo, that was bring my dad to school day. Oh, man.
Got so much
carry a
sadder,
loaded
bro.
weapon at all times, even into the classroom lectures, something he'd done dozens of times before. But that one slip of the finger has brought a deluge of fierce and relentless public scorn.
Well,
Deluge, that's a new one I'm going to start using.
There's millions of hits on the internet. Millions. My main concern is to
We're bringing it back up. Sorry about that, pal.
The fact that I was a productive agent and not some bumbling buffoon that shot himself in the foot.
Paige accuses fellow DEA officers of leaking the tape as he struggles to regain respect as a husband, father, and lawman. But for every
Damn. Sorry for bringing it back up, homie. Seriously, man. I feel bad.
Bro, but he did it.
like I said, he turned into a teachable moment in front of those kids, whether they know it or not. It obviously left a mark. Ba-bum-bum.
My bro, you should not bring a loaded weapon into a if you're gonna do a whole show and tell, you should have took the clip out. I mean, like this is a cop.
I mean, well, obviously, right? Obviously,
you have training, bro.
There's no need for the bullets.
Brian should have been teaching the class.
Brian's chilling on the
Brian's
wall.
the one that leaked the video,
Brian, let me
allegedly.
No, I don't think so, bud. I'm not about to hand you a rifle.
I'm not gonna be complicit in your bullshit.
She came like.
I'm sorry, Mr. Paige.
Put it down.
Oh man, the things we have to live with.
I would still say that he's a good cop, right? No,
he's not a cop anymore.
We used to be a good cop, at least a good guy. But yeah, you definitely shouldn't be bringing loaded guns inside a classroom full of children. I don't know. Seems like a bad call.
On the list of more bad cops, it seems like they're really from
So we're going with him being a bad cop.
No, this is a spectrum. Really good cops, cops that make mistakes, and now we're in the bad cops.
Now we're in bad zone. We start out pretty green, pretty nice, pretty sweet. Now we're in toward the yellowish orange.
It's about to get red.
About to get red.
Guilty on 2 counts in the trial of the so-called dirtiest cop in Florida. But Officer German Bosque was found not guilty on the charge of battery after the victim claimed that Bosque punched him in the face. Well, tonight, that officer is speaking with Local 10 News reporter Jason Martinez.
The defendant guilty
What's local? Local what?
Local 10 Miami.
Police sergeant is over.
Opalaco.
With a victim.
A jury found Sergeant Herman Bosque guilty of false imprisonment and tampering with a witness. He was found not guilty of battery.
It's just never a good day when you have to bring down a police officer because we expect them to protect us. So it's kind of bittersweet.
The case stems from a 2012 incident where he allegedly punched a man during a domestic disturbance call. That man, Corey Davis, later went to the station to file a complaint. That's when Bosque forcefully removed him from the department's lobby, handcuffed him, and placed him in a holding cell for 14 minutes.
And in this case, I responded to a call. I thought it was, I made a decision, and consequences to that, I got arrested.
Bosque decided
Domestic disturbance? Was he beating his wife?
Defense, but he did speak publicly for the first time tonight.
Something that's very important for everybody to know is I'm against bad policemen. I'm against, dirty cops. I have a
This guy's got a history of it, though.
My family, I like the person in the mirror.
Bosque has been accused of beating juveniles, hiding drugs, stealing from suspects, and falsifying police reports, earning him a nickname he doesn't like.
You've been called.
I mean, when everybody's calling you, this is several instances. I mean, you got a reputation.
The dirtiest cop in.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to refute it when everybody's saying it. Now, I'm not saying that it's definitely 100% true because everybody's saying it. Because
he just got convicted.
No, maybe in his instance. I'm just saying in general. Just because everybody's saying something doesn't make it true. Everybody may just have the wrong, whatever. If a jury convicted him, everybody's saying it. I'm gonna go with that for sure. But like I said, that doesn't ring true across the board for sure.
It doesn't, and you're a great person to just judge people on an individual level.
I try to.
Right.
Now I don't. I absolutely don't. A lot of times some of the stuff I say gets perceived as maybe me feeling that all the way. Like I'm just trying to say that's the way it should be,
right?
Generally, what I mean?
You're a regular citizen human. Yeah. This guy is took an oath to uphold the law and be, you know what I mean?
Fair?
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely not fair. It's been tweeted, unfortunately. It started off that one reporter wrote that I was the most investigated, and then reporters started picking up the story from there, and it started snowballing that now I am dubbed the dirtiest, the most corrupt. It's spun out of control, and I have people to answer to.
And we are back here live at the Miami-Dade County Courthouse tonight, where that verdict was read just 3 hours ago, late into the night. As far as the jury, you saw them kind of hustle out of here. No comment as to how they came to the verdict they did. So what's next for Mr. Bosque? Well, his legal team says they plan to appeal his 2 convictions. We're live at the Miami-Dade County Courthouse. Jason Martinez.
A man who claims he was kidnapped by a cop while he was trying to file a complaint against him
testified in court today.
Kidnapped.
That former officer has been called the dirtiest cop in Florida.
He was working for the Opelika Police
they keep saying it, man.
Department
That's
when
what
the
sucks,
incident
too, man. It's like a
happened in August of
hashtag.
2011. Local 10 News crime specialist John Fortune is live with more.
I don't know if it sucks, but especially if he's dirty. I'm just saying, a lot of times he just sounds good because a bunch of other people said it.
That's true too.
You know what I mean? So now,
court.
I don't know.
Now, there's a lot of finger pointing from the alleged victim when he took the stand, and in the hallway before things got going, from the officer himself, who is charged with kidnapping that alleged victim, and then roughing him up at the house. And it got nasty right
Kidnapping
after that.
him and roughing him up.
Next thing you know, he pops me right in the left eye.
It's evidence that appears hard to discount. A bruised and battered Corey Davis. The injuries allegedly from the fist of a suspended Opelika police sergeant, Armand Bosque.
You did not see Sergeant Bosque hit him or strike him in his eye or his body, correct? Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you see him resisting arrest?
That guy looks
Maybe
uncomfortable as shit.
officers or fighting with the officers or the defendant?
No, ma'am.
Several officers taking the stand for the state. Their testimony at times not helping the sergeant, accused of kidnapping Davis moments after he walked into the Opelika Police Department one day in August of 2011, slammed up against a wall and handcuffed.
Did you know why Corey was in handcuffs that evening at the station?
No idea why he was in handcuffs.
The state contends Bosque was angry Davis came to the station to file a complaint against him for roughing him up earlier in the day at his girlfriend's home when he refused to hand over his 14-month-old son to Bosque.
Did you see any reason for Corey to be arrested that night?
No.
Well, he punched him with his kid in his hand?
No, when he came back to the Opelika Police Department later to file a complaint.
That's when he punched him.
Yeah.
So what was the complaint about initially then?
Well, he responded to a domestic violence situation.
No, I mean, like, why is he coming to complain?
Because he roughed him up when he went to the house.
He like threw him against stuff?
Right, and tried to take the baby away from him and stuff like that. So this is another cop from Miami that he was part of the Biscayne Park Police Department, and this guy was trying to get his quotas up and his percentage up, so he just started arresting mad black people and just throwing them in jail and like pitting them with crime.
But like,
Former police chief who was sentenced to 3 years in prison for framing innocent
black
people for crimes they did not commit.
Tonight, a public defender is
Innocent
outraged,
black
saying
people.
the punishment for the chief should have been much harsher. He spoke to local 10 News.
This guy was the chief of police.
Who has more on this, Todd.
Louis and Lori, keep in mind that these crimes happened several years ago. Since then, a new chief has been brought in here. He's cleaned house and, by all accounts, has been very transparent. That said, back in the day, when these crimes were going down, it was a group of 3 officers and 1 rogue chief.
What happened in this case to me is abhorrent.
Miami-Dade's public defender Carlos Martinez is outraged after the former police chief of the village of Biscayne Park, Ray Atiziano, received only a 3-year prison sentence for years of conspiring to frame minorities for crimes they didn't commit, so he could improve his department's crime-solving rate.
One of the people that got sentenced to...
He just wanted, because it was an upscale neighborhood, he wanted to prove that his job was being worked. So every single crime that came up, he would pin it on a minority black person that was in a neighborhood that was close to Biscayne Park. You know, like Winter Park's got Winter Park, and then they have like that little black neighborhood right next to it. A lot of predominant rich neighborhoods in Florida are followed by an under, privileged community right next to it. So he was taking advantage of this. Because a lot of these people in the poorer communities, they don't have representation. So they
But like none of the white people in the poor neighborhood? He wasn't pinning on them either.
No,
5-year state prison.
It's super
and this guy was Spanish. It's kind of like the Zimmerman kind of thing that I was saying about,
Yeah, like you're saying, yeah.
There's real racism between the Hispanic.
Was Clarence DeJorlo.
The then 16-year-old had 3 home burglaries falsely pinned on him, and he served that time in state prison before being deported.
Wow.
Will somebody please explain to me how Mr. DeRollo gets 5 years, but the guy who framed him for those crimes that he never committed
gets
less of a sentence?
And they didn't catch the people who
now there's
did
a
the
civil
crime,
case pending.
on top of which. dummy. Just solve the crime. Is it harder? Is that what it is? It's harder and your numbers aren't as good. But you're not actually a good cop. Like, what kind of shit, what part of the game is that? You know what I mean?
And you only get 3 years.
That's the part of the game that matters, is when that guy is walking around, so I got to meet him at Publix or see him in the street, and everything's fine because they would have committed crimes eventually anyway. I wonder if he tries to like rationalize it in his own brain that they would have been doing that shit anyway. So
right,
might as well get them now while they're young.
In his racist mind, it's like, black people commit crime anyway. I'm gonna add to the narrative.
It's so crazy. Like, you're shattering people's lives.
And this is a chief.
And you're up in the ranks, and you got 3 other dudes also Spanish, or are they all Spanish?
Mm-hmm.
And what are we talking about when we say Spanish?
Like Cuban and...
I guess it doesn't matter, but
yeah,
it's fucking crazy,
Hispanic,
man.
yeah.
It's to have... And that's systemic, you know? That's systematic right there. That's in the system. That's people with crazy amounts of power, firearms, training. Like we said earlier, they're training. And they're using that training to fudge the paperwork.
Just to get their numbers.
Glad they got caught, but you know what? Florida's a big state. And there's a lot of deeper, darker places than Biscayne Park.
Florida police officers are out of the job after an FBI report tied them to the Ku Klux Klan. That's right. Fruitland Park Deputy Chief David Borst resigned and Officer George Honeywell was fired last week, according to the city manager. The link between the KKK and these guys surfaced in a report from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement based on information from the FBI, which learned about the connection during a broader investigation. The city of 5,000 residents is located about 40 miles northwest of Orlando. Now, Fruitland Park is in Lake County, where KKK violence in the 40s and 50s was chronicled in the Pulitzer Prize-winning book.
And before that, we see what happened in Ocoee.
Oh, yeah. Chronicled. What's that, 1820? So about 100 years before this story.
So this is another
Three
plot.
KKK members who are current and former Florida corrections employees are now arrested for allegedly plotting to kill an inmate. ABC Action News reporter Ryan Raish joining us live now with the details he just got from the State Attorney General's office. Ryan?
Yeah, we just wrapped up a press conference with Attorney General Pam Bondi,
Guys
who's
in jail.
fired up about these arrests.
What's
She
the
says
problem?
3
He's
now
done.
former Department of Correction workers and allegedly members of the KKK concocted a plan to kill a now former inmate, but that plan backfired big time. Take a look. We just got the mugshots for these 3 guys: Thomas Driver, David Moran, and Charles Newcomb.
What are you doing?
Butler, Florida. Investigators say they hatched a plan to inject insulin into an
KKK
former
members.
inmate,
Does that guy-
attach a fishing pole into his
Does that
hand,
guy look like a
and
member of
make
the
it look like he
KKK?
drowned. But get this, police caught on, foiled the plan, and
Lost
instead faked a
souls.
murder scene
What
with
are
the
you
inmate,
doing?
making it look like he got shot 3 times.
Those photos were then shown to the corrections officers who are
Oh, they hit him
alleged
with the old
members
fake
of
photo
the
joint?
KKK, and we're very proud of this killing.
Oh, real photos.
The investigators
Sorry.
say the 3 prison workers wanted the inmate dead, all because it's in retaliation of a fight that occurred with the inmate and one of those workers. Those 3 workers are now charged with conspiracy to commit murder.
man.
This appears to be yet another example of corruption within the Florida state prison system. And right now, legislators are working on some
Fruitland
better
Park.
oversight to fix that system. We'll have
Yeah. Let's hope they fix it.
Damn, dog. Well, because it's old, but it's new. You know? It's old stuff.
So this is, where's that video? There's a video of this cop playing football with this guy's head. Again, we're in the red area, so this is not all the cops. It's not the norm, but this is happening.
Backlash over that arrest caught on camera. A Miami police officer seen on video kicking his...
Yeah, that guy's down as hell. You don't get no more down than that right there.
He's not going nowhere.
Good to go. Police officer seen on video kicking a suspect in the head while he's already
Then he hit him
on
with
the
the,
ground in handcuffs.
the Randy Savage
The incident
after
is
that.
under investigation this morning.
The
And
elbow.
ABC's
Hit
Victor
him with the elbow
Oquendo
forearm
is
coming
in
down.
Miami
Yep.
with the story. Good morning to you, Victor.
A lot of these
I don't
stories
wanna-
coming out of Miami, bro.
I guess the more south you get, like
A lot of cocaine and high temperatures, like cocaine reggaeton and shit.
So this one I just did not understand. This is dealing with another individual that is handicapped mentally.
Oh yeah, I remember this one.
And this was just like, what? Like,
you know what makes this one nuts? Is the guy approaching, if this is what I'm thinking, the guy approaching is a trained professional. He's saying to the cops, I know this person. I know how to handle this because I'm trained to deal with this individual.
Exactly. This is in Miami too.
He does not have a weapon. I know this thing that he has on is not a weapon.
And he's mentally handicapped.
Yeah, but yes.
He's not going to respond to you.
I'm a professional.
Police procedures and the use of force, topics of heated and painful debate. The latest altercation to gain national attention, an unarmed mental health worker shot by police. Miscommunication and misunderstanding around the man with autism he was trying to help. Tonight, one police department's mission to change their approach to interactions with the mentally ill, as another police shooting sparks outrage. 47-year-old behavioral therapist Charles Kinsey is sprawled on the ground, his hands clearly empty and in the air. At his feet, a 24-year-old man with autism who had just run away from a group home where Kinsley works. Authorities say police were responding to a call of someone with a gun who might be suicidal.
All of the officers felt that there was a firearm involved.
Police draw their guns on arrival, but Kinsey yells to them that the man at his feet is unarmed.
To the officers, it looked like the white male was about to shoot Mr. Kinsley.
He's loading up his weapon.
Police and Kinsey both plea for the 24-year-old to lay down. But he doesn't. Police officer Jonathan Aleda fires his gun.
I don't
hitting
see a
Kinsey
gun
in the
anywhere.
I'm holding fire. We have one now.
Another video after the shooting shows police physically patting down Kinsey and the man he was taking care of. Kinsey later spoke to Fox station WSVN.
And I'm standing there, I'm like, sir, why did you shoot me?
So they were firing at the dude, Ronaldo, but missed and hit that guy in the leg. So on top of which, you're a bad shot.
And the hands are in the air.
What's he doing? Now, I understand we went over how stressful the job it is and how high pressure situations call for immediate action and training that a lot of these guys have, like the dude going across the street at the other guy who's having a mental breakdown, you know, who's firing a gun, actively firing a gun at you and returning fire. It's amazing. But then you got this guy rocking back and forth, playing with a toy truck, and a guy yelling at you saying, I am a behavioral therapist from up the street.
Yeah.
This kid's from up the street. He has a toy truck. He's not like, motherfucker, back the fuck up, or I'm going to shoot everybody here. He's laying on his back like this, and he gets shot in the leg. I bet you, and this is some probably wild shit to say, but I bet you money that cop could make that shot if he tried again. Like, laying down.
So he shouldn't even take it.
And as far as like on purpose, because he was going for the other guy and missed and hit that guy laying down in the leg.
Wow.
I bet if he tried to make that shot, he couldn't hit it again.
Allegedly.
What? That's what I remember the news story.
Yeah.
That's what happened. He was going because he thought that the kid was making a move with his toy truck. And it sucks to, and that sucks, but it's unfair to Monday morning quarterback the situation because we weren't actually in it.
Right.
But
there's a lot of video. That's why I played it.
But
and like you said, behavioral therapists. Like,
I'm from down the street.
Who uses that?
This is a toy truck
as an excuse for anything.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what's going to happen?
It's not like I'm a behavioral therapist. I know I got this gun to his head.
Yeah. Yeah. what's the end game in somebody making up that lie? But again, we're second guessing. I would think it's pretty safe to second guess. Did they get what happened to the cops?
He just got like administrative leave and
use it as a learning moment.
I guess
next time somebody says I'm a certified
trained people
behavioral therapist and I know this individual and he's not having a good day, but as you can see clearly, this is a toy truck. Please don't shoot me.
And the big guy that was explaining everything was the captain of the division. So
to them, it seemed like, and the guy said he was loading up his gun. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm looking at it through a pair of biased eyes, but I don't see anybody loading anything in that video.
I didn't see any. And again, the behavioral therapist. Well, this is the spectrum. You know, we're human. We're not perfect. Overall, we need cops. You know, we have cops with guns. It's not like UK, you know, where people run around with batons and stuff.
Well, they got SWAT. They got real good.
They got SWAT, but I'm just like regular officers and stuff like that.
Oi. Oi.
And their top hats. We got bald people.
They got we got good cops, we got bad cops. We got cops that try. We got cops that
I think we showed a fair assessment on the police department.
I think we showed a lot more good than bad.
Yeah, well, I think that was like I didn't do that just to like shout out to cops. Like I think overwhelmingly cops do a great job.
Yeah.
There's just sometimes situations where this happens, you know?
And I think it's important for everybody to be honest, because you can have a brother or sister that you love, or an uncle, let's say, that you love intensely, but you can call them out on their bullshit. I think you owe it to your family member, if you love somebody or a friend, to tell them that their breath stinks.
Does my breath stink?
No. I'm saying like, well, not right now. Okay. Sometimes probably, yes. But no, not right now. But see how honest I am about that with you?
And that's how cops should be with other cops.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, bro, that time you used that guy's head as a football and then came down Macho Man Randy Slap.
No,
like two cops.
Save that for Sunday, bro.
The two cops that ran up behind him, I feel like, and again, I apologize, but I'm not a cop. I've never been through training. I've never had to endure some sort of intense situation, at least to that level. But the two cops that came behind him should have had something to say to that guy, because they saw what happened. The guy holding him down should have been like, bro, I got him down.
And there's no excuse for it.
There's no reason to kick him in the head.
I don't care what he just did. There's no excuse for that.
Like, why'd you kick him like that? Like, there's no reason for that shit. He had, I don't know. I've seen situations where that happens, where the guy takes him on like a super long chase across the city, where he risked countless lives and did a bunch of dirty shit.
Does he deserve a kick in the head?
Maybe. You know what I mean? Because you know what? The one guy, Markeith Lloyd, he caught the same thing. He lost his eye.
I want to do an episode. That's why I didn't bring him up in this, but we're going to do a whole episode on that.
He lost his eye, you know? And you know what? He shouldn't have got kicked in the face, but I feel less bad about a guy who like shot at and
killed his wife and then killed a police officer.
His kid's mother. Seemingly, I haven't seen the video, but apparently he executed this wonderful lady, you know, talk about good cops. She did a lot of stuff for the community and stuff, and he seemingly executed outside of a Walmart for no good reason, you know? So, but should he have got kicked in the head? He was laying down on the ground and didn't pose any immediate seeming from the thermal imaging camera, you know what I mean? That's me second guessing again, I guess, but it didn't seem like he had to get kicked in the head. But do I feel bad about it? Not so much. Not so much.
Yeah, but we have to be careful with that, because
I know it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it is.
You got. That's what I'm saying. You got to like really, as far as laws go, you got to really be that second cop that comes up on the guy that putting the elbow on top of his head. He needs to say something to him so that he's enforcing the law instead of being a peacekeeper or whatever, but enforcing the law and doing it in a way that
it would be better for other cops to get rid of cops like that, because
it gives y'all a bad name.
Yeah, it gives it a bad name, and
it makes people nervous at the beginning of podcast episodes by even bringing it up. You know what I mean? I'm over here at the beginning like,
What's Fredo about to show me?
I don't want to get my ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
hey, you're that guy with the podcast that's talking shit about us.
Right. That's because, I mean, I worry. I'm super polite to cops.
Me too. I've never really had a situation with an officer.
I've had pretty much good experience. I've been caught speeding. You know what I mean?
And maybe that makes us biased too, because we haven't really experienced it on that level. It absolutely
does. But again, I think we recognize that. And we try, I would say, to at least present an unbiased opinion about stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I give it a shot, but it's impossible. It's
and going back to what you said, we're so conditioned by the media and seeing these stories all the time that
kind of feel away.
Second guess it.
Yeah, because there's some terrible decisions made by police and terrible reasoning behind the decisions. One guy, I think it was in Chicago, where Buddy was like, I was just afraid. That was his defense. I was afraid of this person. Yeah, we didn't have a gun. I just was afraid of the person. That's why I shot him X amount of times.
You know, people talk a lot of shit about Florida being crazy, but I think because we're such a melting pot, obviously we have some KKK officers and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But for the general rule of thumb, racism. I think from the last, let's just throw it 2000s to the early 2000s.
It's the last 20 years.
I think we haven't, because then, well, yeah, as far as cops, like really... Like, yeah, I'm sure that they're roughing up certain individuals, and then like these cops from Miami were going after, but that straight racism you see in certain like the Michael Brown situation or the Philandro Castillo, like the guy just pulled out we don't really see that in Florida that much, and I might be wrong. I try to research.
I'm going to go ahead and say you're wrong. I don't know for sure that you are. I don't have anything off the top of my head, but just that doesn't feel like a true statement, and I guess that's terrible just to say. Because I have no evidence, nothing like that. But if I'm thinking Florida and like the type of just people that are in Florida, there has to be some of that going on. Maybe not. Let's hope not. Let's hope I'm wrong and you're right for sure.
Well, if you guys know any situations, please add context, comment on any social media.
Context?
Yeah, add to the stories. Like, share stories
that
we
good
haven't
experiences,
heard.
bad
Or
experiences.
bad experiences, yeah.
I have a couple. What would you say your best experience with a Florida cop was?
I was driving from Kissimmee to Orlando, and I was bringing my mom some medications. I went to the pharmacy to pick up her medications, and was driving through the airport, and they had a checkpoint, and I had just rolled the L, and I was smoking my blunt in the car.
At the airport?
No, on my way driving, because there's a long road in the airport, right? Cimarron.
From
Kissimmee to Orlando.
Yeah, you're talking about from 528?
Kind of. If you take it from Boggy Creek all the way through, there's like a long ass passage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was on my way to Orlando. That eventually converts into Cimarron, right after you pass the airport. And there was a checkpoint, right? And I was like, oh my God, there are cops right there. So I put out the blunt. I spray myself with some cologne, and I pull off. And the guy comes up to it was like a bike cop. He was in his like white attire, Orange County. And he's like, what's that smell? And then the cop gets a phone call right when he says that. And he starts talking on the phone, comes back after he hangs up. He's like, who's that medication for? I was like, oh, my mom's sick and bringing her some medication. He's like, my wife just beat cancer. It's all about having positivity in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Have a nice day, sir.
Nice.
And I pulled off, and I literally was like, is this a game? Is this a joke?
You are freaking out, man.
Did I just get away with it? Because the car had to...
Yeah, right away, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're smoking like a blunt.
But he had a personal connection with me in some way. Maybe it was the medication, maybe it was whatever. And he was going through his thing. Maybe he was happy that his wife was in remission. And it was a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
There was another crazy... I'll just throw one more story. I was with my friend Denise, and she works with Jobs with Justice. It's a nonprofit organization. Mm-hmm. They do a lot of protests and stuff to basically represent workers' rights, but they also do a lot of stuff to help out, like Dream Defenders and Organize Now, and these are organizations that protest police brutality and things like that. Especially Dream Defenders, they were joined under when Trayvon was killed in that situation. They sat in Rick Scott's office, or it might have been Charlie Chris, and they formed a nonprofit. Anyway, I went with them down to the police convention at the Orange County Convention Center. These are all the police chiefs in the United States. They get together and they have a convention, and these guys decided to protest them about all the injustice, murders on behalf of police officers. And they brought these like crosses, and I think there's like 50 or 60 of these crosses. And we're all there, and I'm like, man, I'm getting arrested tonight. There's no way I'm not going. And everybody was really nice. The cops were really nice. They kind of moved us. Dream Defenders rushed the place and dropped a banner in the middle of the thing. Some of those guys got arrested. But nothing happened. And I thought something was going to happen because we're like in their territory. We're kind of baiting them, but they're really nice. So, but again, I know things happen. Like I see things that happen, but I haven't really experienced it. What about you?
My best experience with a cop I have two. They both involve being drunk as hell and making dumb decisions, but I'll just go.
Is this where you put a seatbelt on your beer?
Yes. The seatbelt on the beer
great story. Go.
So earlier that day, I was at shooting a wedding. I was working a wedding. It was Halloween ish. Halloween time, so I get off of work and I realize it's like 1 in the morning. It's like late, and I'm like, oh, this party's probably still going on. So boom, I hit the party. Party's basically winding down, but there's still a cooler full of beer. So drinking with my friends or whatever, and party's, like I said, winding down. So I'm like, all right, I'm out. Thanks for having me for this last hour or whatever. I caught a good buzz. Actually, I'm wrecked at this point because I'm just like trying to catch up with everybody else. And sorry, Mom. So I jump in the car because I'm pretty close to my house. Let me take off. But I grab 2 beers with me. He's like, hey, man, you got to take some of these beers. So I set the beers down in the passenger seat. And to be responsible, I put the seatbelts on the fucking beer. Because you don't want to, you don't want those to go anywhere. So I'm driving up the road, and there's an on-ramp to get onto the 408. And instead of, it's a one-way to go right, but the entrance is straight ahead of me. So I wasn't even thinking or looking good enough, but I went straight and realized it's a curb. Boom! Hop the curb. Douche. Make a hard right. Now I'm on 408 after hopping the curb. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. So I hit the gas hard as hell, as hard as I can for whatever reason to get up to speed, I guess, in my brain on the 408. As soon as I get, I don't know, a quarter mile up the road, even less than that, lights in the rear view. So I'm like, damn, I'm drunk as hell right now. Shit, I'm going to jail. So I pull over. I'm just sort of sitting there quiet. Roll the window down.
Beer's still there.
Beer's chilling. Beer didn't go anywhere, by the way. I hopped the curb.
Safety first.
Safety first. So I'm sitting there. Cops like, license and registration. As I'm getting out, he's, I pulled you over? And I was like, no. My answer is always no for whatever reason. I know why you pulled me over. I was speeding. He goes, well, you were going 90 in a, whatever it is on 408. 50, 60. In my head, I was like, damn, 90? I got to 90 that quick? That's pretty good for a Hyundai. I think I had a Hyundai at that point. I didn't think that in my head. I think, shit, I'm going fast as hell, too. So he goes, just stay in the vehicle. So he goes, plus I couldn't find my registration, right? No, I take that back. I usually can't find my registration. I have my registration. So I give it to him, walks back, comes back, and he says, I can't begin. There's so much wrong with this situation. I don't even know where to begin. That's how he started, right? And he goes, your registration is expired. Your license is suspended because I hadn't paid tolls. And I used to be a big procrastinator. So like my license when I first tried to get a job, my license was suspended because of unpaid tolls. And I was just always like, I had money, but I just didn't go take care of shit. You know what I mean? So expired registration. License is suspended and my tags are no good. At that moment, his partner, who I didn't even see because I'm drunk, I'm just sitting there. He's in the other side.
Wow.
And he was like, "Are those beers open?" I was like, no, those are closed.
And I put a seatbelt on, officer.
I was like, no, I didn't even mention the fact that they were like seatbelt in. I was like, no, those are closed. And he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, okay. So then he says all of that, or whatever. And after I got done with him, I was like, am I going to jail tonight? And he goes, honestly, you should, but it's the end of, again, it's like 3 a.m. at this point. And he was like, it's the end of my shift. And
I don't want to do the paperwork.
I don't want to do it. He's literally said, I don't want to do the paperwork. You know, he didn't say you seem like a nice guy, blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't anything except very humbled. And
yeah,
I wasn't even scared. I was just like ready, probably because I was so numb to everything because I was drunk. I was just like, well, I guess I'm going to jail now. And the guy was just like, you know, I said, I'm going to jail. And he says to me, I don't want to even do the paperwork. And I said, all right. And then I had to ask, and I'm like, all right, do I have to get a ride home? Or he was like, I'm not worried about you for the rest of the night, just so you know. But if somebody else pulls you over, somebody else pulls you over. And I was like, all right. So I waited for him to pull off. I pulled off, went home, went to sleep. That was awesome. Man. It worked out great. You know, I wasn't a threat other than, I guess I was driving drunk, but, you know, it worked out. He used his discretion. I wasn't an asshole about it. I was obviously thinking safety. I had my seatbelt on. I had my seatbelt on the beard. He seems like a nice guy. Let him go. And I bet he told his friends that story, especially his partner. He's like, he looked at me with a straight face. He was like, no, those are closed. Told everybody about it.
And they're safe, by the way, officer. They're not going nowhere.
Yeah.
Except for home.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely dealt with asshole cops too. At the same time, I've been made to sit in the rain. I've been approached in a crowd and kind of singled out. You know, when everybody was sort of doing the same thing I was doing, but it's me. You know, do you want to go to jail? Who wants to go to jail? Was my response. Nobody wants to go to jail. What are you talking about? Oh, you're a smart ass. No, I'm literally just answering your question. I'm not. I guess I am a smart ass in that way, but that's my answer to that question. Who wants to go to jail? Why would you even ask anybody that? You know what I mean? To the point where later on somebody saw that exchange. It was like, what was up with that cop? Why'd he come after you like that? He walked past like 7 people, like around people, because I'm tall, maybe,
yeah.
It's like, hey, what are you doing? Same thing 20 other people are doing, boss. I don't know. Do you want to go to jail?
I often wonder that. Is it something that, you know, that they have a preconceived notion about, or is it something that we're omitting that they're attracted to? You know what I mean? I don't know. I often wonder what that is. It's kind of like the bully and the bullied. You know, like why, like,
I don't know. I don't know. It's person to person. Like we're saying, there's fine cops who would see me standing there and just be like, as long as everybody's not acting crazy, they can just be there if that's what they're doing right now.
Yeah, situational.
And then there's some that just get a bug in their ass and just need you to submit.
Respect my authority.
Yeah, there's a guy that got in trouble recently when he beat this dude's ass, and all he was doing was standing on the side of the road. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Somebody called somebody, you know, sometimes it is like the person calling, like the lady. I think it was a lady who called on Ronaldo or whatever, saying that he looked suicidal, and he was just sitting there playing with his toy in the middle of the street. You know, so the cops come up on a thing where a guy has a gun.
Yeah, and how do you look suicidal, right? But you're automatically judging like there's a situation.
Because he's got the truck up to his face or whatever. So,
man. Well, this is another long one.
What?
Probably like an hour and 45. I don't know. We started and then we stopped, but
all right. Well, maybe people will watch it. Maybe people will listen. Hopefully they do.
Well, it's all about providing entertainment for your mind, eyes, and ears.
We love the police as long as I guess the end of the day is what? What's the takeaway?
The takeaway is that predominantly we have good cops and we have to respect cops.
Yes.
But respect is a two-way street. And we have to understand that if we automatically, as long as there's no disrespect, come off with a respectful way, sometimes you're more good than bad situations are going to come from that type of energy. And things do happen, you know, but I also have to wonder, you know, at the same time, we have to hold these individuals at a higher regard because they signed up for it and they took that oath. So you have to, you know, if you're not going to serve and protect and provide that, then other cops have to get rid of those cops, and I think that's important.
I think it's important
also
to call out your friends on their bullshit.
I think those are the main points.
Just call up your friends on your bullshit.
Yeah.
On their bullshit. If they're
colleagues, because they don't have to be your friends all the time too. Your colleagues.
No, I doubt they are. A lot of them are probably just coworkers.
Yeah.
Like a regular job, right?
Yeah.
Call them out.
Yeah.
You know, honesty counts. Honesty works.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Everybody's not going to be right. And everybody's not going to be good at their job. So if they're not, or you know, it could be constructive. It's like, hey, I noticed when we arrested that last guy,
kicked him a little too hard.
You kicked him in the kidneys when he was his handcuffs were
not good.
You should just maybe not do that part.
Right.
And just he already committed a crime.
Right. Show him like another move, like a hand. Check this hand move out. It's better than kicking people in the head.
Something. Don't like explode his spleen next time. If you want to do it in a constructive way instead of just going to the police captain, you know, that'd be good. That I think that'd be cool too. And I don't. It kind of sounds like a joke, but I'm serious. Like,
no, yeah,
because I saw a video of a big, huge dude kneeing. I think it was like an older gentleman, probably in his 50s, kind of smaller, some alcoholic guy, and like fucking his kidneys all up, man, because you're huge and but like the guys that were outside that cell or the guy who was a few steps behind that guy, just be like, hey man, that's not, don't do that part. Why do that part to that guy? You know?
Yeah.
There's no reason to do that. Don't punt the guy's head.
No punting of heads.
There's no reason to do that. And it's okay to say that. I think people feel like you're not allowed to say that. And you know what? I don't know if you're allowed to say that because I'm not a cop. I don't know if it's against some code. If it is, if it's against the code to call out people on their bullshit, I would say it needs an amendment of some type or like an adjustment or an edit to that code because that doesn't work. That don't work. Call people on their bullshit. Like I think that's my takeaway of this. It's like all of this happens. Good, bad, wonderful, whatever. Praise them when they do well, and when they don't, offer them constructive criticism.
And when things like that happen,
and when you're illegally doing something to the point where you're taking motherfuckers' lives, then you really got to like act.
Yeah.
You're supposed to help people, not hurt people.
And you know, there's plenty of positions within the police department that these people can work. Maybe some people don't have like social skills with people, so they shouldn't be out enforcing laws. They should be, you know, doing something, working in the office or doing something.
Work.
Yeah, clean the guns or, you know.
Do they think they have a gun cleaner, like just a gunsmith?
Maybe. Figure out tasks that this individual can do because they clearly have an issue with dealing with people, and that has to be like an important trait. Like, yeah, you could shoot your gun. Yeah, you can, you know, revive a choking baby with CPR, but you need to practice civil skills, you know, people skills, and be, unfortunately, like kind of like a therapist at the same time. And some police officers do a good job at that. You know what I mean? They can look at you like a human and not just like another asshole that's telling them a lie or story.
I'm watching a TV show right now, Flashpoint. I think it's an old TV show. It's not very good, but it's awesome at the same time. Canadian Special Forces.
That's deep, bro. I didn't even know they had special forces in Canada.
Well, I don't know if they're called a Special Response Unit, SRU, or something response unit. And it's not really like that though. It's cool. But each person, they kind of all negotiate, because it's usually when there's like a hostage situation. You know, it's like cops, next level cops. There's like, oh, I got to bring in a sniper. There's like a sniper team and like the bomb tech.
Is it a good show?
This is like a different conversation to have, but
thanks for bringing it up.
No, I guess the short version of the conversation is I came to the realization that the reasons people watch terrible TV is because it's like a game of Clue, right? For an hour, you're kind of like, is it Colonel Mustard in the library with the candlestick? You guessed that during your like little, is it the photographer who murdered the model because of the drugs? And at the end of this kind of terrible formulaic thing, you win or lose. Like, I got it. I guessed it was the barber.
So we should do that for the audience. At the beginning, Kimberly was giving examples of duels that are good and bad, and she said things like Obama and Michelle and Brad and Angelina Jolie and Jay and Silent Bob. You guys should come up with who is Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, or who is Michelle and Barack Obama, and comment and see what it's like a game.
You don't got to do any of that.
It's a game.
Don't do any of that.
Game.
Don't listen to what he's saying.
We're providing like an outside game.
That last part wasn't important. Don't worry about that.
Well, it's the Fresh Produce Podcast. Remember to reach out to us at freshproducefloridamedia@gmail.com. It's going to be up here. Thanks to Thompson. I'm Fredo Peans.
I'm Thompson.
I'm Christopher Thompson.
You gotta put up the whole. I know everybody at this point they would know, but I gotta say Christopher Thompson.
No. Okay, just Thompson.
Just Thompson's good.
Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. And any cops or officers or law enforcement that happen to check this out, just want to give a personal peace and thank you to you guys. And thank you for protecting everybody.
Yeah.
For the bad cops, let's make sure we let them know that they're bad cops.
Constructive criticism is okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's fine.
Makes us better.
It'll make you better.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, I noticed you choked that guy out to the point where he blacked out. Maybe next time, just enough for him to calm down a little bit.
Let's not choke people.
Well, you can sometimes, people get.
No, that's against the rule books and the law enforcement.
Sometimes you gotta, like.
No choking, Thompson.
Oh.
Maybe just like a tase.
Is that better?
Tase is better than a choke.
That's bad for your heart, though.
But more people die from the choke than the tase.
All right.
So.
Well, I don't know. Again, I'm not a cop.
Neither am I. This is all allegedly and assuming, but that's what makes this show great. Peace and love to you guys.
Peace, boy.